Hi there, friends. Welcome to another sing-along time with Powell River United Church. I'm really happy to see you, and I hope that you'll sing along with me. The first song that we're going to do is called Most of All, and it's talking about how the most important thing of all is that we love each other. Okay, so let's try this song. This might be new for a lot of you, but we'll go through it a couple times. How about that? And then maybe you'll start to learn it. Okay? Most of all, let love guide you. Most of all, let love be true. No need to play those games, so make love your greatest aim. Most of all, let love guide you. Let's do that much again, okay? Most of all, let love guide you. Most of all, let love be true. No need to play those games, so make love your greatest aim. Most of all, let love guide you. Be aware of what's inside. Be aware of what you hide. Be honest with the one who loves you as you are. Be aware of what's inside. Most of all, let love guide you. Most of all, let love be true. No need to play those games, so make love your greatest aim. Most of all, let love guide you. Most of all, let God guide you. Know the love of God is true. He will never let you down if you trust that He is real. Most of all, let God guide you. Na 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 na. Most of all, let love guide you. Most of all, let love be true. No need to play those games, so make love your greatest aim. Most of all, let love guide you. Yes, most of all, let love guide you. Great job with a new song. Okay. There's another song that is talking about loving God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and loving others as we love ourselves. And that's what Jesus said was the two most important commandments. So let's see how this song goes. Oops. Okay. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind, and love all of mankind as you would love yourself, and love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and mind, and love all mankind. We've got Okay, nice singing. Let's try a song that you might know from the radio. If you wake up and you don't want to smile, if it takes just a little while, open your eyes and look at the day. You'll see things in a different way. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone. Why not think about the times to come and not about the things you've done? If your life has been bad to you, well, just think what tomorrow will do. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone. All I wanted was to see you smile. If it takes just a little while. I know you don't believe that it's true, but I never meant any harm to you. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone. When the sun beats down and melts the tar up on the roof, and your shoes get so hot you wish your feet were fireproof. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah. On a blanket with my baby is where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun. Under the boardwalk, be having some fun. Under the boardwalk, people walking above. Under the boardwalk, we'll be falling in love. Under the boardwalk, boardwalk. In the park you hear the happy sound of the carousel, and you can almost taste the hot dogs and french fries they sell. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah. On a blanket with my baby is where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun. Under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun. Under the boardwalk, people walking above. Under the boardwalk, we'll be falling in love. Under the boardwalk, boardwalk. I've got a story to share with you, and I'm excited to share this book with you because a member of my family did all the illustrations, all the drawings for this book. It's called A Wilderness Passover, and it's written by Kathleen Cook Waldron, and my family member who did all the pictures is named Leslie Gould. a wilderness Passover. This is the time of year when people of the Jewish faith celebrate Passover. And Jesus belonged to the Jewish faith, and Jesus was celebrating Passover just before the very first Easter. Okay. Last night, Louis led the search with a candle. Susan followed with a goose feather, and Papa with a wooden spoon and a bag. They were searching for any bread, cake, cookie, or cracker crumbs left in the house. The kitchen glistened in the candlelight as Susan swept the last crumbs into Papa's wooden spoon. After their first winter in the mountains at Ruby Lake, Louis's family was finally ready for Passover, or so it seemed. The morning sun stretched through the new green leaves and danced on the creek below. Papa, Louis, and Susan stood outside by a little fire, burning the crumbs. Mama sat in Grandpa's old chair on the porch and frowned. Mama and I will do your chores today, Papa said, while you two pick up the eggs and shank bone for the Seder tonight. Great, said Susan. Sure, said Louis. No, said Mama. What? asked Papa, Susan, and Louis. No Seder, Mama repeated. How can you even consider having a Seder here, in the middle of nowhere? Why not? asked Louis. We have no matzah, no parsley, no horseradish, no haricot, no special wine, nothing. We have flour and water, Papa said. We could bake our own matzah, like our ancestors did in Egypt. Susan pulled up a fistful of green grass and placed it on Mama's lap. Who needs parsley, she said. We're surrounded by spring greens. Louis ran across the yard, broke off a willow branch, and peeled off some bark. He gave the branch to Mama. I bet bark's a better bitter herb than horseradish, he said. Rabbits and deer eat it. He took a small bite and quickly spit it out. Yuck! Now that's bitter. Mama handed the branch back to Louis and brushed the grass off her lap. We are not rabbits or deer or cows. Susan picked up a shovel and started digging. How about a dandelion root for a bitter herb, she asked, shaking the dirt off an enormous dandelion. And dandelion leaves can be our spring green. Dandelions? Mama rocked harder in her chair. What about the wine? How can we have a Seder without special wine? Let's use the wild raspberry juice we canned last summer, Louis said. Elijah might like juice for a change. I'd much rather drink 4 glasses of raspberry juice than 4 glasses of watered down wine, said Susan. And the haricot? Mama asked, daring them to answer. Every year she made a big bowl of haricot, the sweet apple reminder of the mortar the slaves once made. The few shriveled apples we have wouldn't make enough mortar to stick 2 bricks together, much less build 2 cities. We'll make do, Papa replied. Mama shook her head. Even if we bake our own matzah, pick dandelions, drink raspberry juice, and share a splotch of hairset, how can we make a Seder with just 4 people? No one answered. Everyone knew Mama's real complaint wasn't with the food. Mama missed preparing for Passover with her aunties, uncles, cousins, and friends. She missed greeting all the guests that Grandpa invited to their Seders. No one should be alone at Passover, Grandpa had always said. Look on the bright side, Mama, said Susan. Louis won't be afraid to ask the 4 questions if only 4 of us are at the Seder. I wasn't afraid last year, Louis argued. I just forgot the first question. Enough, said Papa. We have a lot of work to do before sunset. I give up, said Mama. She closed her eyes and leaned back in her chair. Louis ran to get his bike. Papa headed for the woodshed. Susan carried the dandelion into the house, but on her way to the kitchen she stopped. A picture drew her over to the mantel. The baby picture of her sitting on Grandpa's lap at a long-ago Seder. Mama misses him most of all, she realized. Tonight will be her first Seder without him. Her first Passover away from her family in the city. A Passover in the wilderness. Then Susan had an idea. She dropped the dandelion in the sink, took a Seder book off the shelf, tucked it in her sweater pocket, and ran back outside. She jumped on her bike and sprinted down the driveway after Louis. I have a plan, she said breathlessly as she caught up with him. They turned onto the main road and raced to Millie's farm. After a quick cup of tea with Millie, they packed the eggs safely into Louis's backpack and headed for their next stop, the Higgins' ranch. On the way, they passed the Cugnuts, who were out working in their orchard. At Higgins' ranch, the whole family was outside helping Stan, the sheep shearer, with the shearing. Mrs. Higgins was glad to stop for a bit and bring them the shank bone. On the way home, Susan and Louis saw Mr. Morgan walking along the road with his fishing pole. He lived alone and never visited the other neighbors. Louis raced up the hill to him. "Hey, Mr. Morgan," he called. Louis walked his bike alongside Mr. Morgan and chatted away. Susan hung back. She had never spoken to him before. At home, Susan put the eggs on to boil while Louis mixed salt water. Papa had lit the wood stove and was busy baking matzah. A pot of chicken soup bubbled on the stove. Racks of macaroons cooled on the windowsill. Susan roasted the shank bone and an egg for the Seder plate. All afternoon, Papa, Louis, and Susan peeled and chopped, sliced, simmered, steamed, and baked. Mama sat outside, polishing Elijah's cup. Shortly before sunset, Susan opened the table to its fullest size and covered it with their best linen cloth. Even with just 4 places set, the table reminded Susan of Grandpa's. At sunset, Mama came inside to light the festival candles with Susan. They were about to sit down when they heard a loud knocking at the door. "Isn't Elijah a little early tonight?" Papa asked. "Since when does Elijah knock?" asked Mama. Papa opened the door and then he opened his mouth, but no words came out. A crowd of neighbors greeted him from the porch. "Come in," he said at last. "Welcome to our Seder." Millie came in first with a basket of wild strawberries and a big bouquet of daffodils from her garden. Mr. Higgins followed with a huge horseradish root he'd dug that morning. "Plant a small piece," he advised, "and you'll have plenty by fall." Mrs. Higgins brought fresh parsley from her garden. Her son Danny had a jar of pickles in each hand. His sister Patty was carrying an overflowing green salad. Stan followed with a steaming dish of asparagus. Mrs. Cugnet was next with a big bowl of haricot. "Susan gave me the recipe," she said, "and I had plenty of apples left from last year's harvest." "Will apple wine be all right?" Mr. Cugnet asked. "It's my own special recipe." Mama's eyes shone like the festival candles. Susan and Louis set more places at the table. The wine cups were filled and the Seder began. When the time came for Louis to ask the 4 questions, there was a soft knocking on the door. "Elijah?" Mama asked. Susan and Louis exchanged glances. Papa opened the door. "It's Mr. Morgan," he said. Mr. Morgan held out a platter of fish. "Is trout allowed?" he asked shyly. "Trout is perfect," Mama replied, and she set another place at the table. "Louis," Papa asked, "are you ready to ask the 4 questions?" Louis picked up his Seder book, looked around the table, took a deep breath, and in his clearest voice sang out, "Why is this night different from all other nights?" So in that story, we learned some of the traditions of a Jewish Passover festival, Passover celebration, special meal. Okay, we've got one more song to do to close, okay? It's called "Go Make a Difference." Go make a difference in the world, okay? Go make a difference. We can make a difference. Go make a difference in the world. Go make a difference. We can make a difference. Go make a difference in the world. We can make a difference when we share God's love around in the world. Well, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, and bye for now.